Listen to the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah on Spotify. I'm still uploading the Healing Guides on YouTube, but it's still taking me some time. I'm actually really just doing my best to upload as many episodes as I can. I've actually recorded so many, but they require so much editing. So sometimes that's really the reason why I'm not uploading as much as I want. And I'm not posting on all, podcast platforms and other social media places because it's just too much time. In my life right now, I'm working on other things that are just going to require more effort, more time for me. So, God willing, you know, very soon when sort of things stabilize, I can really sort of market or basically put, the podcast everywhere because I do talk about very essential subjects today that society needs to hear about, which is all the ways that humans are getting exploited, abused, harassed, violated, harmed in this perverse society, a highly perverted, sexist, filthy society. So obviously human beings would have just, the small group that has any good heart would have obviously fought against this, but they can't because God is the only one you could use to save people. And even God is accused of, having his scriptures and his religion say perversion and sexism is okay. Whether it's in Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, God is always the one they accuse. So since the devil did that, it's very hard for human beings then to protect themselves because they're using scripture. They're not using what God told them to use. Their mind, you know? Since he allows scriptures to be corrupted, you're not supposed to then care about what they say as much because you already know, God already warned you that, in past human history, they get corrupted. But you don't have to know that, obviously, in order for you to use your mind, obviously. That's just something that's common sense to me, but not to the human race for some reason in the majority. And they just say, oh, that's what God said? Okay. And they just think God is really that character that, could form in your mind from reading that stuff in the scripture. And you give up. You get me? You don't have anyone else to protect you. Your own creator, they accuse him of being the predator. So it's very sad. So this episode really is short, 15 minutes. It just entered my heart to do this. If it benefits anybody. I go online a lot and I research what's happening, obviously. Just what's happening in the world. That's kind of how I know what's happening with people um, where they're practicing perversion and sexism on themselves and they're doing it to others. One is the entertainment industry, which is an industry that, obviously good people enter it sometimes because they're just artistic, they're gifted. Art is a beautiful thing. I have a lot of artistic abilities. I just haven't expressed them yet. So it's like someone who's good at singing, and singing is not a sin in Islam. You just can't use certain musical instruments that just don't really reflect a pure way of, still being someone who worships God. Just some things you would agree just don't fit someone who believes in a God, because they would be very calm, very respectful, very, peaceful, like, how humans act like at a church or mosque. Okay, then imagine how they act at a club. Does that fit? Right? Someone who just worshipped God? No, right? So the musical instruments are causing that nasty way of dancing and acting, and okay, and therefore that's a sin. That nasty way of dancing, that musical instruments that are just way unhealthy, just not necessary. The voice is okay because God gave us a beautiful voice. Many of us, you can just use your voice. So, anyways, basically, there's always a balance. God is okay with what is truly actually good if you observe it using logic. Anytime He's not okay with something, if you use logic, you can see why. He didn't make it hard for us to understand Him. So, even if scripture is corrupted, if we just use our mind, we would understand. You get me? But who wants to use their mind? Nobody. People just follow what others do. So yeah, the devil obviously really ruins this sort of right? This sort of human right that many people have, that God gifted with a lot of artistic abilities. Okay, they created this industry where they can go and maybe use it. He turned it into sin. He turned it into a place where they're being asked to film sexual things or something completely different, just perversion, just filthy and weird stuff on screen, in front of people. When this just used to be a way for human beings to just make you laugh. They just pretend to be acting out a certain situation in daily life in front of you like a theater and you just laugh. It used to be something basic and simple, just acting. Or, maybe they're singing things that are not evil or bad, but then the devil just took it, added, bad musical instruments into it, added bad singing into it, like what they're saying, their words. And then he went a step far and added nudity into it, sexual content into it, and then filthy, nasty, perverted things into it. And then in order to do that, obviously, he mixed the male and the female. They're not supposed to mix like that, since that would only be, I'm talking about the normal part that's sexual. That would only be when they're spouses. Okay, so something reserved for the spouse. He made just general males and females do that who are strangers to each other, not related by blood or anything. And it just became this trend, instead of just something artistic, something normal that you can just express and you make money from that. It became a way to defile yourself, defile others, promote shamelessness. So, this is really the sad part that I wanted to talk about, which is what this episode is about. The way they take advantage of children and teenagers who just want to be artistic. There's certain things that today are considered art. They're actually sinful and not artistic at all. And there's certain things that are not evil or a sin, like singing, but you can turn it into a sin based on what you add to it, like I explained earlier. So, I can explain that in another episode, but right now I'm just trying to talk about this subject of how, these perverted, filthy, demonic human beings who obviously are possessed by demons, they're demons, and those filthy humans, obviously, you all know what a pervert is. They like to go after children, men and women, adult, young, old. There's no age or gender to it. That's what perversion is. It's just going against your nature, going against human sexuality and human honor. It's a predator. It goes after the body, though. You get me, versus your money. So, okay, it wants to exploit anyone with a body. You get me? So it doesn't matter if it's an animal. Now you're gonna start to understand why they go for different species, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I thought a pervert. Exactly. The way you think is wrong. They're just a predator, get it? But a predator to a body. Therefore, it doesn't matter what species it is, they'll go after anybody that, they can exploit. So there's this thing basically, in Hollywood or even Bollywood or any other sort of entertainment industry, but usually it's Hollywood, where they take advantage of children and teenagers who are obviously drafted into these, jobs or roles basically for artistic things. Maybe they get into Disney, maybe they get into Nickelodeon, maybe they get into, I don't know, just singing overall, like Justin Bieber, for example, and they take advantage of them. They constantly are touching them, these creepy old adults in their 30s, 40s, 20s, it doesn't matter. When he was just 16, they're constantly touching him in front of everyone, in front of TV, okay? All is recorded. They're just fearless, okay? So, and then that's just what they do. They keep touching these people's bodies pervertedly. They keep saying filthy things to them, and it's always someone older than you. You get me? Very old, like in their 30s, when you're like in your 20s, or less than that. They like to be friends basically with you when you're very young. That's the quality of a pervert. They like to go after the young. Okay, so males who like to go after really young females, that's not a sexual thing. It's a predatory thing, because you're not mature or intelligent or intellectual enough, like a grown female would be, to be like, hey, you know, where she knows what he's thinking. So you're so young, so they're trying to take advantage of you for that reason. So they groom these people. They act like a big older brother to them, big older sister to them. Hey, why don't you come, to my house? What happened? We used to hang out. We used to chill. What do you mean hang out and chill? This is a kid compared to you. Why would you, if you're an adult, why would you hang out and chill with teenagers and children? That's not your age group to chill and hang out with. You get what I'm saying? Chill and hang out is an adult with you that would do that, an adult friend that you can talk about mature things with. Why would a kid chill with you? You're a grown man. You're supposed to have children his age. So that's what they would say, to people like Justin Bieber. And it's just creepy. They go to their homes, they ask these kids, these teenagers, these young artists to come to their homes, and, you know, that's it. They're using their wealth to lure them. Okay, well, for you, you're not around wealthy people. They're going to lure you by acting like they care about you, they have advice for you, or they want to help you, or they want to advise you on how to be with the opposite gender. Like they have some sort of knowledge, or they can promote you at a job or whatever. They're always going to lure you using normal things like that. And then they're really just perverted. They're just trying to be around you, groom you. Groom means they're trying to get you to consent to them doing perverted things to you versus an attack, like they actually attack you. They don't want to attack you. They want you to let them. They want you to hate yourself and defile yourself and not honor your own body, that you let them do that to you. And at some point, they actually attack that person and rape them, etc. Well, some humans, they might even tell them they want to rape them, and the person actually allows it. So there's, many ways that perversion can happen. It can be consented by the human or not. And it doesn't matter. It's still the same filth, the same crime. So my point is, my heart breaks for these types of human beings, these young people who just love art. You get me? They just love what they do. Artistic, all the books at a library that I see. It's just beauty, it's just art, it's just creativity, it's just colors. They just like to express themselves maybe by acting, and that's fun. You can do that in front of your neighborhood. Like this theater, maybe, where kids are just acting out something funny, maybe. It's supposed to be fun, like elementary school, how we all used to play those, theaters in our sort of, I think, monthly or something that we all used to do as kids, like kids would sing. It has turned into a way to trap these age groups into perversion, turn them into perverts themselves. And then, two, a lot of them who sort of like escape from that, right? Some just go into it, become evil too, accept these creepy old humans, controlling them and stuff. And they do that to others, and the cycle continues. While others get away from that, okay, but because of the high level trauma, since they don't have a connection with God, they just go into drugs and alcohol and smoking and reckless behavior, like, drunk driving and just driving recklessly and going to jail. And all you see is a celebrity gone bad type of situation. You agree? Almost all of them have a moment. They were young, they were happy, they were adorable, they were just, okay, but then all of a sudden they go down this sort of dark, angry, reckless, lawless person, right? That's because some perversion has happened to them. It's very rare for evil humans in that industry to actually just beat up someone, violence. The first evil, I always say this on my healing guide, that the devil likes is perversion, okay? So he's not really gonna pick to beat you up as much. He'd prefer to rape or molest somebody. Okay, so that's it. That's why anywhere you go in this world, like a workplace, a school, a church, a place that is supposed to be religious, a place that is maybe like entertainment industry, it's not obviously a moral place. They do so much sin and evil there. Whichever industry you go to, whichever environment, as a human being, you're always going to be told to protect your body. Always protect yourself from the ones who are older than you in that environment trying to touch you. That's what they call it, workplace harassment. So it's not just females, the males are suffering too. It has nothing to do with gender, like I said. It's just that the males are not going to tell you because of how society doesn't create a place for them where they can also say they're victims. So guess how they then tell you? Becoming crazy, okay? They get into drugs and become reckless and violent, and that's them reacting to the trauma in that unhealthy way. They might go to therapy, but they're not going to tell you what happened to them, okay? They're just going to say they have emotional problems. So my heart breaks for them, and I wish I could just go to all of them and say, you don't have to go through this, and you don't have to hold all these nasty emotions and thoughts and demonic energy into your body. You can go to God and we can heal you using your creator as your support, as your love. We're just with you in the process. You can cry, you can scream, you can tell us what happened too. Since God is the only one you're supposed to be afraid of, you don't have to be afraid of those human beings with that big money, because they obviously scare these people that if they say anything, they'll destroy their career. But obviously, they're really good people. They're not going to care if you destroy their career. They're not going to be silent for that reason. Do you know what they actually say to them that prevents them from telling us what's happening to them? But we just as a society, human beings are just seeing that. You get me? We're just seeing that and we're concluding something must have happened to them based on, you know, many interviews and interactions where we see these people have symptoms where it looks like they've been molested or raped or you know what I mean. Humans are homosexuals, lured them and did things to them and weird stuff. They have weird parties, filthy things. Okay, we can just tell because we're observers, we're human beings, we can notice signs. Sometimes it's too late when people notice this because the devil really, pushes good people away from you. Obviously, good people usually don't waste their time too much on movies and songs as much. They're just kind of busy with life. I don't know. They just usually just in other things. Their life is just too busy. Um, People who just waste their time and their life away, who have nothing better to do. They're the ones who are going to be on YouTube all day watching songs. They're the ones who are going to go to every concert. You get me? Their life is not being used to conduct more meaningful things. So those are the ones we're going to see that this person's having some breakdown. But see, they're not moral, so they're not going to help you. But the moral people, those who could have a heart and could help you, no matter the level of morality, exactly, they're not watching all this entertainment with human beings all day. You get me? They consider that a shallowness on their part. They're thinking, why should I waste my energy and my time on them? I have a life too. You know what I mean? They don't want to glorify or worship them in that way, which is kind of worship. If you call yourself a fan or anything, you're worshiping the human being. You know, you're not supposed to waste your money and all your hard-earned money, on some useless concert or something that doesn't benefit you as a human being. It's not like some author that published a book that actually brings meaning to your life. It's not like that type of art that's actually intellectual and healthy. Or, maybe it's singing, but it's at least, I don't know, it's in a healthy way. You're not actually acting like this is some angel that came on earth where they scream and shout, and it's just a person, right? So the way they scream and shout and run after them, and okay, and then now they go an even more dangerous way where they try to touch these people. Now you're the pervert. Why are you touching the person? So these are obviously not moral people. You get me? They're just average, weak human beings who are far from God, no matter what their religion is. So they're the ones who follow them all day. Therefore, these people, no matter how much breakdown, no matter how sad they look, no matter how miserable they look, no matter how they come out with mental illness, diagnosis, no matter how they are clearly on drugs and stuff, no matter how their body changes into this rugged, very sick way, who's gonna actually say anything? Those are the type of humans running after them as their fans. You get me? Healthy, calm, educated people are not there in your concert. They're not really watching you on YouTube. They're not really interested in you. They have their own life. You get me? And religious people are not even into that stuff. They're not going to listen to that because it's sinful, a lot of the things these artists do. So those who could really help you are not even around you. You get me? So for that reason, the devil takes advantage of that by adding sin into these normal artistic abilities like acting and singing. By adding so much sin into it, religious people are pushed away. Moral people are pushed away. Decent human beings, even if they're not religious, are pushed away. Okay, now he knows only the worst is going to be attracted to it because he put so much sin and evil into it. So now when he's exploiting and abusing these human beings in that industry, using human beings who are highly predatory and perverted and filthy, He knows no one's going to save them. See, he thought about it like that. Make something normal into evil and sinful so that you push away good people from coming to enjoy that art. Now it's a place of only perverted, nasty, toxic, narcissistic, strange, demonic human beings in that industry. You know? Okay, then when they're exploiting those they can who are not as evil as them, no one's gonna know that's supposed to know that could actually help them. So that's why sometimes it's on broad daylight, broad TV, you know, for you to see this human getting exploited or touched this way or that way in their butt, for example. And the entire audience in that award ceremony is just laughing. You get me? Because they're all filthy. And the comment section is saying, how could no one say anything? Why would they say anything? They're perverted too. Okay, so good people who usually get into that industry, they get broken. Okay, they really lose themselves and they get so sick and traumatized and they break down and they leave it at some point. Okay, that's what those actual good people who enter that industry thinking they're just going to be artistic in a healthy way. That's what they realize, that it's not possible. It's a demonic industry and they run off. You get me? Like, you can't choose to just use your art in a moral way and just ignore the evil, demonic, filthy, perverted, hypersexual side of it. That's what people realize. Obviously, they know when they were getting into it, it was evil industry. It's just that they think they can still do their moral way, their own thing, and not mix with that, and it's not going to bother them. It's not possible. The devil will not let you. He's thinking you're not going to come here and make money from this industry and be an example for what art looks like, right? In a moral way. You're not taking your clothes off. You're not saying foul language. You're not doing anything sexual. You're not doing anything perverted. He's not going to let you, because then that's going to be an example, and a certain audience will form that will be attracted to that. And now sort of a secondary industry will be created. This one will have to shut down. And then two, he's just not going to allow that, because he just wants to harm anyone who comes into the industry. So, dim art. Art is a beautiful thing. He wants to dim art. He wants to get rid of art. That's why religious people usually are doing art. Usually are not doing anything artistic. They just talk about God all day, but they don't go and do other things God tells them to do. Create great things, be artistic. God loves beauty, so He just dims it. That's why Muslims are not known right now for being artistic and great and architectures. You get me? He just destroyed their kingdoms and nations. They had the most knowledge, they had the most libraries, they had the most poets, they had beauty, they had intelligent, strong women. He destroyed all that. You get me? And now you see this oppressed, disgusting, perverted, dumb society every Islamic country you go to, and the ones here are just reflecting that. You're never going to know this was God's original religion. You get me? By projecting all the evil to it, taking away all their beauty. So it's the same thing with the entertainment industry. So if you're someone that's going through what they're going through, as well as just so you know what the solution to those people are, like Justin Bieber, which if you study him, you can clearly see this was a good boy at the beginning. He could have been a man that could really love one woman and be loyal and be a healthy husband. But they, just pushed him off. The devil attacked him and caused them problems with his relationship. They just pushed him and pushed him. And out of that sort of, humans have this quality if they're not careful. Not every human, but some of them. The devil can turn you into hypersexual just out of anger. He can tell you to go to that person because this one just broke your heart. He can just use such a dumb reason like that, just to make you perverted, just to make you objectify yourself with this random person you don't even like. Let them touch you. Something, if that person before you met them who broke your heart, you would have never done that to yourself. You'd look for love. You'd be a very good, you'd be like, don't touch my body. You get me? So how did you lose that quality? Just because this person entered your life and heartbreak happened. Why did you now forget the value of your body, the honor of your body? See, it's not logical because it's evil to think this way. It's not moral to think this way. They left, okay. You're supposed to just go back to how you were. You used to honor your body. You didn't fool around before them. So why do you need to fool around when they leave you as a way to sort of deal with the heartbreak? That's not logical. The devil's just telling you to sell yourself. As if it's going to hurt them or something. As if you're getting back at them. Why don't you? It's just dumb. So since it's just a way for him to push you to become a pervert, you know, when you were young and all these creepy older human beings constantly trying to touch you, you felt uncomfortable. Then they try to act like a big brother, big sister to you, and you just acting fake with it, you know, because you're anxious, you're scared, you're uncomfortable, you're trying to avoid them, but you don't know what to do because you're young, so you just act fake polite. Oh yeah, what happened, man? Like we were supposed to hang out. Oh, well, the thing is, see, you're so anxious, you're so nervous. I actually lost your number. That's why I actually saw a video of him like that, where Justin's doing that. And it just reminded me of many human beings who I've seen who act like that. Not face to face. If I saw them, I'd do something, obviously, to get them out of that situation. I mean, like online, you know, many examples of that. So I can understand what he was feeling, that anxiousness. He was just 16, you know. They constantly, you know, smelling him and sniffing him and saying, "You're pretty," and putting their hands in his face. It was just so disturbing. All those creepy old adults doing that. And there you go. He doesn't have good parents that care about him, that would protect him from that, that would make a disclaimer on TV, you know, like a news channel saying, "Hey, we're not okay with these behaviors. Stop doing it to our kid." You know, like the sort of news headline. Boom, everyone leaves them alone, you know? It's a dangerous industry. That's why I would never want someone I love to get into. I would obviously not want someone that I love to ever enter that industry, even if they're entering an area that's not necessarily, you know, that stuff like singing, dancing, acting, etc. I don't care what you're doing, as long as you're sort of going into that sort of entertainment industry, you're still in danger. You're still gonna go to places and theaters and environments that are all based on a demonic cycle of highly perverse and predatory humans being those who are recruiting. You know, they're the director, they're the manager in that theater. They're, you know, it's not like usually like the certain average place that humans go to today who are non-Muslim, like a club or bar. I mean, it depends in those situations. They're highly dangerous and perverted as well. There's another place people, you know, would suffer from that type of behavior of constantly someone trying to touch them. But you get me, I would never want someone that I love to get into that industry. Even if what they're doing is not sinful, because it's better that you just do that normally. You just become your own artist, get your own fan base. Not fan base, get your own people that just are your audience that supports you that way. You know, don't actually go into that industry. That's a demonic place. Many people have good intentions, but you know, it's not gonna work. Okay, the devil has a strong grip on it. You know, it's that same industry that then allowed the devil to then create porn. You know, it's easy because he already established perversion on screen. Porn just went too far with it, and then it included actual real criminal conduct and evil things into it, because anyone can record it, anyone can put a video on it. Some rapists could record someone they're raping and then just put it on there, but give it a title that, if you know, for those who didn't see what the video is about, they're just gonna click on it because the title is misleading, you know. And now someone just saw rape. That's how they trap you. Okay, they try to get you to see crime that normally, as a human, that trauma, you're protected from it. You're not gonna see it normally. This is a way they try to force you to see it. So I wish it was time, you know, for those people in that industry to get help, for them to just know they can come to their creator. Get your healing, get your peace, get away from that nonsense. You can practice your art in a positive, healthy way. You can continue to sing if you want in a very safe and natural way. Because you have a voice, obviously, God doesn't have anything against it. There's just certain things you want to do so that you don't get into demonic side of it, a sinful side of it. Because demons have to manipulate everything. And then that they shouldn't be afraid, lastly, of going to court and telling the courts what those humans did to them. Because, they threaten them and stuff. I didn't finish what I was saying earlier where I said some of them, they threaten them, that they'll kick them out of the career if they say anything that they did to them. While for others, who just may not care if you, ruin their career if they speak up. These ones, right? The ones who are really on drugs and losing themselves, but they were these bright, wonderful, young artists at the beginning. They're the ones that they actually threatened them with some sort of murder or some sort of violence that they'll do to them if they speak up. It's really that simple. Because it is a very dangerous industry. They have a lot of money. They could obviously hire certain individuals to kill people if you maybe say something about them. Like this really perverted, filthy actor called Kevin Spacey one time. A lot of males said that those, they did work for him. Like maybe they were working as a bartender, etc. Whatever job those males had, he would groom them, call them to his room, and he's homosexual, so he would actually touch them, okay? But then for some of them, I think he actually raped them or something. Again, they didn't fight. They can defend themselves. They're human. So then he would silence them. You get me? They would be like a threat. And those males, again, they go through so much trauma. Since they're male, they feel like they can't tell you what happened, so they just don't tell you. Okay, but then some of them actually went to court and tried to expose him. And each time, the person died in an accident before their court date. See, what would any society then do? Especially the media that likes to talk too much. They like to talk about everything that's happening, right? Wouldn't they be like, oh my God, it's just like those movies, where things like that obviously happen because obviously the one that they're trying to expose hired some hitmen to kill that person in a car, acting like a random person was just driving randomly by that, witness that day in just that random road that witness happened to be on before they went to court, and they just died, to make it look like a coincidence. It doesn't happen. Society doesn't say, wait a minute, why would this person who was trying to sue this actor, they were trying to go to court and expose them for a crime, they were about to give their evidence, etc., go through the trial, why would they just die before the court date in an accident? Because humans today have evolved so much to know that accidents are not actually always accidents, right? They know humans can cause something covertly to make it look like accidents. See? It's just the industry's so demonic. It's controlled by the devil too much. They're going to silence everybody from making that conclusion. The media is also controlled by demonic. That's why they're not going to always tell you the truth about what they do to Muslim lands, what they do to other people, what they do within their own countries like the U.S. government. Okay, they're always lying to you. So for that reason, they're going to shut them up too. Hush, hush everything. So we live in that type of dangerous world. People are suffering. And they don't know how to exit because they don't know God Almighty. They forgot that God is the one that's powerful and scary. Not some weak little emasculated male who's obsessed with little teenage boys who, God have mercy. That's why a pervert is just a pervert. There's no such thing as a homosexual. There's just a pervert. A pervert goes after both genders. It's just that when people see them going after the same gender, then they give them a name and think, oh, this one's a homosexual. But when they see males who are just, a pervert to both genders overall, then they call them heterosexual. But if they, let's say, rape a human of the same gender, then they say that's a heterosexual who did that. How come they commit that crime? What the hell are you talking about? That means they're also homosexual if they rape someone of the same gender. What the hell's wrong with you? Why are you separating homosexuals from the humans over there who rape their own gender? That obviously is a homosexual. It's just that they want to make homosexual into something that's sexual, something normal in nature. So they want to make it seem like you're accusing them of using a normal sexual feeling to then harm people. It's not a normal sexual feeling. It's perversion. It's predatory. It's rape, what they do to each other. So at some point, they'll do it to someone by attacking them versus another pervert just like themselves who don't mind, which then it becomes homosexual conduct. Okay, but when they're attacking someone, then it's a rape because that person's not like them. So we just have one character. Just a pervert. Stop giving them names. What are you going to call the one who rapes their own family? There's no name for it. So stop creating names. It confuses people. Perverts go after both genders and all age groups. So if someone says they're homosexual, it means you're a pervert. You're just trying to make it seem like you have a different sexuality. Just like heterosexual people, their sexuality is the opposite gender that's not blood related. You're acting like you have something like that of your own, like your own other sexuality. There's no such thing. It just means you're a pervert. You're perverted to the same gender and you're perverted to the opposite gender. And you are capable of rape because you do that to yourself every day. You just may not have reached that level yet, but you will one day be used by the devil to do that. Because you're already perverted. You're already doing rape to yourself when you go to a pervert like yourself and do homosexual conduct. When you go to your own family and do filthy conduct with them. When you're touching animals and stuff. It's just one character, a pervert. But they just go in different directions. Someone too old, someone too young. Family, animals, completely different species, or same gender. So they can either do filthy things with those groups I just mentioned consensually, where the other one is a pervert too, or they can attack them. It's that simple. So I wish we could tell them that your creator is powerful and not to be afraid of these human beings because they're scared of them. They're scared of them. So because they're scared of them, they're not going to expose them. They're going to just go do drugs. They're going to just go and get into all these relationships with the opposite gender not related to them. And they just become promiscuous because they just need something to cover up their wound, their trauma. So it just looks like the person became promiscuous. It looks like the person is just crazy. Looks like they're hypersexual. They're not actually trying to do that. They're just trying to hide that they've been raped by the same gender, for example. By going to so many people of the opposite gender, promiscuity. It's like they're trying to erase it every time they commit sex with some random person, which is never going to be real sex. It's just going to be perversion. The devil convinced them to erase their trauma by becoming promiscuous, get it? By becoming perverted. He really beat you. He beat you to this game. You gotta admit you're dumb as hell. If you are traumatized and angry and unhappy because that human touched you, what is that human? A pervert, right? Okay, so what should you become? Whatever is furthest and farthest away from that type of character. So you should be the one to never become a pervert, correct? Why are you becoming a pervert as well? Why are you becoming perverted? Doesn't matter if it's the opposite gender or the same gender. Why are you becoming perverted? Why are you going around all these people of the opposite gender? You date this one, you commit things with them, you go to another one. Why are you letting all these people touch you? You dislike that human. That's how they were. You know, that creepy male, old, male that was trying to act like your big brother, calling you to his house, saying, oh, look at all my cars, look at my house, blah, blah, blah. Obviously he had a lot of filthy, perverted females come to his home. You didn't like that about him. You didn't like the fact that he tried to touch you. Okay, so why are you becoming like him? Because evil has entered this person's heart as well. They've also become evil. They've also become perverted, sadly. Instead of running away from perversion, just looking for a loving relationship. So that's why people like Justin Bieber would just get married. The kid just did it in a weird, everyone knows it's not from his heart. He doesn't obviously love the person he married. There's a lot of Muslims who feel concerned for this boy because we can see the hurt in him. We can see he needs a parental figure. He doesn't have a parent that can take care of him. But now he's around my age. So he's like 30 now, I think. So now he's really supposed to lead himself. But he can't do it because he doesn't ever step out. Other people in the industry just don't step out, and other industries similar to it, they don't step out and go look for actual human beings in society, like actual big doctors, actual big psychologists, a lot of artistic people. There's just good people in this world. They don't look for them. They're just stuck in their own industry. The type of doctors who usually work with them, the type of, you get me, psychiatrists who usually work with them, those are demonic humans. Those are the ones being paid to work there, to continue to shut everything down and protect those high-level criminals in the industry. Those are the ones that are being paid millions of dollars, just to work with this industry so that their ugly side doesn't ever come out. Because regular doctors are going to expose them. You get me? So they should just go to regular people. They should just go to a regular church, for example, instead of the ones that are connected to the industry. Because obviously that's not a real church. Why would it be connected to entertainment industry? That all they do is sin. Their solution is God Almighty, but also exposing the crimes that were done to them and telling the government they need protection. And then telling the society, the public, they obviously have a lot of media attention they can easily get. They can just go on national CNN or something, TV, and just tell the whole world what happened to them. How is someone going to then try to kill them the next day? You get me? It's very risky. Demons don't do things like that. So yeah, no one's going to really try to kill them. If they were to go online, not online, sorry, go on national TV and actually tell you what happened and say that they want to take legal action, and they actually ask, for protection from the government. Now there's that sort of, everyone's on guard, right? Everyone knows what's happening. Those evil demons are not going to use some of the wicked ones that this person would expose to then try to kill them. They can't. It's too late. See? So the demon at least knows it can defeat these people by convincing them and getting them to hide the evil that was done to them, the perversions that was done to them, the trauma that was caused on them. Demons win when you're silent. So I want you to know, if you also have had similar experience, understand that there are people like me who care about you. But you're not going to find us if you're not looking for us. You're not going to find us if you don't ask God to lead you to who can help you and heal you. And you're not going to feel safe to go out there and expose what was done to you if you don't get it out of your mind. This lie that if you're male, you can't tell people filthy things happen to you, like rape. You're human and evil can happen to you. It doesn't mean you're not a man. You just need to tell somebody. That's how the devil keeps it shut down, makes it seem like it's just a female thing, so then he can perpetuate the nonsense. That, you get me, it's a gender thing, that females are weak and that's why they get raped, blah, blah, blah. That's how he projects that nonsense. When there's strong men and women and weak men and women. There's humans you can actually harm and rape, and there's humans who you cannot. Those strong ones are the ones who come and help society. So I'm not saying therefore you're weak. I'm just saying you're weak in the sense that you didn't fight it. But you can choose to become strong now and be someone that fights it. First, by taking legal action, exposing what happened. Again, go to God first to ask him to help you and ask him for protection as you go about it. Don't just go to court right now without first making a prayer. God will always protect you either way, but still, prayer obviously makes a difference. First, pray to God. Say, God, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go confess what happened to me. I need your help. I need your protection. from all demons and humans who could try to cause me death and accusation. And sometimes demons can just follow you with a cop, okay? They can just possess a cop for no reason, okay? Bring them to your location. They approach you, hey, can I see your ID? And you're like, I don't need to. You need to pray, okay? Anytime evil humans approach you or situations that are dangerous could happen because it's demonic. Um, it doesn't have to be demonic, it's just evil. You get me? You need to pray. If you don't pray, it's possible that then this will happen. They're going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to argue with you. They always accuse you of arguing with them. They just acting like they're God. You can't talk to them. So then they say, you know what? We'll handcuff you. You're detained. And boom, for no reason, you just go to jail. You know why? Demonic retaliation. Because they knew you were going to go confess that crimes were done to you. So that's why it's not fair. You get me? It's not between you and the human race. Because then you're safe. That evil human you're about to expose doesn't know that. You're about to go to court. You might be in a completely different state. Okay? It's just that demons are the ones who use them to rape you, molest you, harass you, abuse you, groom you, etc. Their demons can see what you're up to. Okay? They're the ones, therefore, who are going to say, no, we cannot let this happen. And they send other demons to possess humans way in your city, your state, then try to put you in prison for something you didn't commit. Just randomly try to bully you and put you in jail. Why do they use jail? Because now you're not free. You can't go out and talk to the courts. Okay, so demons like to put people in jail or mental hospital in order to take away their freedom, because the freedom is what they would use to then go report something. You agree? Go and get married, go and have a job, go, etc. Whatever you need to do, you need to be in society in order to do it, not be locked up somewhere. So they don't know what else to do except to lock you up. You get me? They might convict you of a 20-something crime. You should already know by now these things can happen. You need God to protect you. You need to pray. And don't be scared. Even if it happened, God can still save you. I'm just saying. Go with precaution. Don't be afraid of them. Whoever groomed you, whoever touched you, whoever harmed you, violated you, they're weak as hell. If you could just look at them dead in the eye, they're going to freak out. Because you gave them power at that time. If right now they see you're not going to, they're going to act submissive the way they should because they're weak. A pervert is the weakest. A rapist is the weakest. Don't be scared of them. It's like a bully. It wants you to believe they're big and scary. Okay, demons possess children and come into my environment and they stare at me like that creepy ghost-like image. They stand facing the other direction and then they turn only their neck, trying to creep me out. And it's a child. Why would you be afraid of that? It thinks you'll be afraid because it thinks the witchcraft it did to my stomach, where they caused my stomach to have some sort of anxiety. They think because only when the child appeared, that sort of fear came over my body. They want me to actually believe, therefore, that I should be scared of the child. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're dumb as hell. Okay? They don't care if it's a big person or a tiny person. Demons just want you to be scared of them. And you're thinking, well, I've never seen demons. How could they think I would be scared of them? That energy, get it? That weird fear that comes over you when you see someone. That criminal, predatory type of look or energy or vibe. Like that. And maybe you've seen similar humans like that bother you multiple times. They just want you to be scared of that energy. Well, for you, it could just be humans who look like the rapist, the molester, the narcissist. Just someone who looks like them. They may not use energy as much. Right? But since you and I would never be scared of a child, they use energy. You get me? And for the adults too, they use energy too. But humans who are adults are more conscious. So if I look at them, they sort of relax. The demon can't make their face look weird anymore. But the kid is going to just be like completely gone. Because they have less conscience than an adult. So they think they can scare the hell out of me with children. They think they can assault me using children. These kids run towards me and they try to grab me or something, like they know you or something. And there you go. The demon knows, obviously, you're not going to be scared of a kid, right? No, it knows that you know that that's not a kid, but that's a demon. You get me? And that demon follows you every day. And it's trying to touch you. And it's trying to get you to react and maybe look like you did something to the kid. Okay, so it wants you to be scared of that story it puts in your head. If you follow that story, oh no, that's a demon. It's using a kid this time. What should I do? I can't obviously talk to it like an adult and, threaten it or tell it to leave me alone. Because, yeah, people are going to make me look the bad. Oh, no, that fear is what it wants me to be in. So you avoid the kid. Now it's thinking, oh my God, I got you. And it's going to follow me around with that kid. But I was recording this and I just stopped the recording and I just looked at the kid, just like I would if it was not a demon. And the thing became conscious. You get me? Looking at them makes them more conscious. The human comes back to their consciousness because they're possessed. They don't know what's happening. So you need to bring them back to their conscious by looking at them. Not eye contact. Don't look into their eyes because then they can sort of make you sort of dizzy, confused and sort of like your head because it's a demon. And they might actually run towards you because you're distracted now. If you have too eye contact with them, too long eye contact, just look at them normally, but don't focus on the moment. Because if you focus on the present environment or the moment, you're absent, you're distracted, it might run towards you, which is the same thing they do for dogs. Today I saw a dog this morning the demon tried to use it sneakily to come behind me when I was recording another episode this morning. And I just stopped what I was doing. I said, no, from across the street. It's so far away, but God lets me see them. I have high awareness of things that a human usually cannot see. And the dog just stopped and it was confused. It was trying to think. It was trying to come back to its consciousness. It doesn't know what's happening. The demon was using their body. Then it's like, oh, that person is telling me, no, 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 don't come towards me. And I pointed at a different direction. Go that way. After a few seconds, it went that way. You get me? So that's how I treat the children too. Usually, since they're human, they're more conscious than an animal. I don't have to talk to them, but I have to look at them so they actually understand there's a human sitting here so they don't run towards me and try to touch me. You get me? And then use that to cause me fear. You get me? Because they know you can control an adult trying to crowd you or get in your personal space. Well, we're human. We can look at each other like, what the hell's wrong with you? So they got tired of using adults, and now they're using children and animals to try to touch me. All they want is to control my mind with fear. They just want me to be afraid. You get me? Of them or that type of creature, that type of human or that type of situation, because they repeat it over and over and over again to sensitize you to fear. So demons do that to me. They can do the same thing to you. For you, it would just be, you get me? Whatever they use for you that causes you anxiety. You see something, whatever makes your stomach go, juk, 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 something's moving. Just your stomach is just jumping like a heartbeat. That's witchcraft. You're not actually scared. Okay, I'm obviously not the one who's scared when I saw a little kid. That's like my nephew. It's just that they're sending witchcraft to me, scaring me of what possibly the demon in that kid could do. It's like possible. They're trying to scare you the possibility. If it was a grown adult, I could just put my head down and ignore them. They're just going to pass me. You get me? Because that's just intimidation. That's only if you give them power and you think you have to look at them. Otherwise, they're going to assault you or bother you. And you're like, no, they're not. I don't care. Who cares what they do? I ignore them. Then they stop using adults because they know they have to behave. And me ignoring them is not going to make them feel confident to assault you. They're just going to look bad because they know you're not going to react. But children, if I was to look away when these demons are possessing them to run towards me, they're actually going to try to touch me. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they're kids. They think they can get away with doing perverted behavior to me, touching me when they're possessing a child. Because people are not going to think that was a perverted conduct on that child's part. You get me? They're not going to think the kid was evil and targeting you. They're not going to think that was a demon. So they're not going to be like, hey, If that was a grown man running towards me and touching me, then people, you get me? So this is how sneaky they are. If you're not scared of what other people are scared of, they're going to keep going and going and going and going, coming up with other ways they think they can scare you. They don't give up. Sick and tired of these demons. So you have something that wicked and that annoying, that persistent as well. If you've ever been abused by perverted human beings, if you've ever been groomed by them, it's obsessed with you like that. Those demons who touched you, using those humans are obsessed with you. They think they own you. They're not going to leave you alone. They'll bring you similar humans every day. They'll bring you that same fear in your stomach and mind and those fearful thoughts that it's bad for you if you speak up. Bad things will happen to you. God can't protect you. You're a sinner. He hates you. Blah, 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 blah. Your Lord can protect you from anything. You're a human. You're strong. You can protect yourself as well. You can be calculative and smart. Don't actually hate these thoughts that tell you bad things could happen. Actually use them to your advantage. Those things are possible. Do you agree? They could retaliate like A, B, C, like the mind says, except some things that are just complete false. You know, the ones that are actually possible. Actually think about it, and then think of how to counterattack and prevent them. You get me? You don't actually try to get them out of your head. It'll get out of your head if you tell yourself, oh yeah, A, B, C possibilities could happen. What should I do if A happens? And then now come up with something you'll do to prevent it, okay? Not just treat it. And then come up with something you'll do to treat it if it actually happens. Now that you're prepared, the mind constantly getting those demonic thoughts of, oh no, this could happen, it's not going to cause you fear. Exactly. Because you already have a plan. So use it against them that way, okay? To prepare on what you should do to protect yourself, counterattack. Because they keep reminding you of what could happen. Use that to actually then plan what you should do to protect yourself from what could happen. You get me? Now, when it does happen, you're not scared. By knowing that demons will use children when they can't use anyone else to harass me, now I'm not going to be bothered when my mind keeps getting those thoughts. Oh no, a kid could pop up here, a dog could pop up here. Because I'm already prepared and I already understand they're going to do that. Instead of acting like I don't see that, instead of acting like I'm going to act like normal people who are not being followed by demons using these strange tactics, it's just going to cause me anxiety when they pop up. You agree? Because I'm not allowing myself to already know that that's something that could happen. I just act normal. I don't actually associate that to a demon. I just treat it like an actual kid, but just an evil one. You get me? I treat it like an evil one, an evil dog, because then I know what I have to do. No, stop. You know? Go to your parents. But if I actually act like that's a normal kid, then they're going to win because then I'm going to ignore it. You get me? Because I'm not treating like the evil kid it is, which I would not ignore. I'd look at you because I know you're trying to run towards me and touch me. I'm not going to ignore you. I'm going to stop you if you try to do something. Using my mind, using my eyes. I don't even have to talk to you. Okay, but if I ignore it, thinking that it wants attention, and if I ignore it, they leave me alone. It doesn't want attention. This is criminal level now. They actually want to assault you. If I don't ignore it, now they lose because they want me to think ignoring it is going to help me. That's only for other behaviors demons do. You know, they are covert. Like they just stand outside laughing the same time I come out. All these humans just start laughing, walking towards you. That's covert, right? It's not actually bothering me directly. That's when you ignore it. But if a human actually enters this area I'm sitting in, you know, trying to sneakily run towards me, assault me, approach me, talk to me, but they're acting covert like they have no intention of that towards me. They're acting distracted. And then at some point they turn their neck and they're really focused on me like a target. I'm not going to ignore that. If I look at them, it's just like bullies and criminals, how all human beings have got rid of them in human history. We look at them and intimidate them and they leave us. Okay? So the kid had like a twitch. I rebuked it. I said, die right now in God's name. I'm talking to the demon. And the kid twitched. You get me? His whole face like some robot. That's what I'm saying. It's a demon. Kids are sweet. Okay? Why would they do these things? So anytime you see weird, evil children, okay, they're obviously evil. And it doesn't matter their age. As long as they're evil, demons have permission to possess them. So you're dealing with two wicked things. Okay, so since I looked at it, I protected myself. I projected back to that kid that I know what you're trying to do. I know who you are. You're evilly trying to come here and trying to touch me. I'm not going to treat you like a kid. You're not really a kid. You're actually like a grown adult. I'm going to treat you like that evil type of mature grown adult. You get me? The thing got scared and left. I can't do anything if I'm allowing myself to be prepared for things that you would say are criminal to do. Things that are just annoying and just seeking attention. You can ignore them. So they're trying to make you look insane if you pay attention to things like that normal humans, right, would consider normal. But things like that, someone running towards you, trying to touch you, trying to bother you, sending you fear, you're not going to ignore that. Okay, so just know that there's a lot of people just overall praying for human beings like Justin Bieber, just like all those other young people who are in the entertainment industry who are still stuck there and not leaving it, who've gone through a lot of abuse from perverts, touching them and grooming them and abusing them, and they have nobody to rely on. And we can all see them break down on TV, online. If you're like that person, understand you can get help. God can guide you to who you should get help from, But you can go right now to him. Just go in prayer and talk to him and spend time with him, and he'll guide you and heal you. You know, you don't need us, the human race. You just need your creator. He just at some point might use us to extend his mercy to you. So it's still him. Don't you don't have to glorify the human. But you know, obviously be grateful that they supported you. Be thankful for what they did for you. Don't be ungrateful to them just because, you know, God sent them, obviously. You give God his right. You're grateful to him at his powerful level. And the humans who helped you, you're grateful to them at their human level. Just know you're not alone, and it's not okay to be silent. And pray for yourself and people who are like you, that they speak up and they get their healing and that they find God.